Today we'll be looking at a few different things in the market. I want to talk about my chart setup, how I have my chart set up on my platform. I'm using Thinkorswim. But mostly today I want to talk about Priceline. Very good day today in Priceline. Big market today in Priceline. So we'll start off here on the daily chart of Priceline. Okay, so if you look at Priceline on a daily chart, the green line on my chart here is of a 200 SMA, 200 simple moving average, and Priceline, after it breaks $505 here, it just tends to go up, and it goes up drastically. But as it goes up, for all traders, you guys should be kind of looking at how it goes up. It goes up in small green candles and small red candles as well, but small green candles, nothing too crazy, no big ignition candles, right? Small green candles. But as it starts to pull back, after it makes this new high at $774, as it starts to pull back, it breaks the low of the green candle before it. After it breaks this low of the green candle before it, this is a very good short here. I was trading this is a daily chart, so I was trading this on the 5-minute chart, on the 1-minute chart, and also on the 15-minute chart. But I was trading this when it was making the high, and I was trading it all the way back down yesterday. Today, it opened up a lot lower in Priceline. And, of course, considering that it broke the low of the previous day's green candle, you know, this red candle today could come all the way down into the support area right above the 20-period moving average here on the daily chart. So if you go back to your 15-minute charts, I'll zoom in a little bit so to make this more seeable. This is a 1-hour chart, so I'll change it back to 15. I'll change my 15-minute to a 5, and I'll change my 5-minute chart to a 1-minute. Okay, so if you look at Priceline here, as all traders know, risk is important and reward is important. And if you're going to be risking your money anyway, you might as well be risking it in something that can actually pay you, right? Because the worst thing to do is to be trading and risking live money, trading something that barely moves or doesn't yield too much. If we look at Priceline here on the 15-minute chart, just measuring the candles a lot of the times will tell me if something's profitable. I don't need to look at a bunch of numbers and facts and figures to see if something moves or if it can pay me money. A lot of times you can just go to the chart. The chart says it all. So here on the 15-minute chart, we see that if we measure one of these candles, this red candle here will measure first. This candle starts at 745. Let's say 745.85. And then comes down to 738. I believe that's, yeah, let's say about 738, just to be more round. So that's about $7 in one move here. $7 if you had on 1,000 shares would be $7,000, right? So that's plenty of money in this one candle. If you had on only 500 shares, that would be $3,500 if you stayed in from top to bottom on this one 15-minute candle. And that's $3,500 just on 500 shares. I had a very good day today in Priceline. A lot more than that I made. And we'll get to that later. But I'm just showing this as an example that you want to always trade a market that pays you money. And you want to always make sure that you're not trading against the trend as well. Because, you know, yes, this was a very good candle down to short. But, you know, you probably wouldn't have seen this if you were trading against the trend. You know, so a lot of the times, in order to make good money, you trade with the trend. Because when you counter trend trade, there's just a lot more risk involved for, you know, the trader P&L wise and emotionally. Because psychologically, we're always trying to outsmart the market or be the smartest person in the room. And that causes people to go against the grain in what's actually just trending and happening already in the market. So just kind of try to avoid that. Trade with the trend. It always pays. Okay. So if we go back to this again, on my setup here, I have a 15. This chart here is a 15-minute. But the smallest chart all the way to the left is a daily chart. So I have a daily, 15, 5, and a 1. Daily chart gives me the overall picture. Are we going up or down today? 15-minute chart gives me the immediate trend. Is it an uptrend or a downtrend? The 5-minute gives the momentum. Where are we going right this second? So maybe you might have an uptrend on the 15-minute, but it's coming down some on the daily chart. I'm sorry, on the 5-minute chart. Uptrend on the 15-minute, kind of coming down some on the 5-minute. In those types of scenarios, it just makes sense to be able to short it. And where would you short it? You would short it into whatever support you see on a 15-minute. Now, I don't have an actual chart example here to do that, and we'll add more things on later. And if you want to drop a line or say, hey, Robinson, can you describe more in detail something that you were talking about? And if you tell me specifically, sorry, if you tell me specifically what it is you want to see, I'm pretty good at getting back to people and showing you, if not the exact same example, something closely related. So, and then the last chart we'll talk about here is the 1-minute chart. I'll blow this chart up. This 1-minute chart gives good entry and exit, but that's all it gives, right? So after you get into a trade, maybe you don't want to watch the 1-minute chart because it's going to send you so many false signals that you're not going to be able to either A, stay in the trade, or you'll keep getting in and out of trades, especially for those who counter trend trade a lot. You'll keep getting in and out of trades, and it'll be a lot of failed patterns. Especially if you were looking at Priceline today, when it started to go sideways here, it's just completely flat. And if you were looking at the 1-minute, you're probably in and out 100 times thinking, hey, it's going to go up, no, it's going to go down, hey, it's going to break up, hey, it's going to break down. So just kind of be mindful of that, So you're using the daily chart for the bigger picture, you're using the 15-minute for the trend, you're using the 5-minute for momentum, and you're using the 1-minute for your entry and exit. Now, it's always best to wait till you see a trend or a pattern or whatever signals you use to enter the market on the 15-minute. I always use the 15-minute for that. If I see a good pattern set up on the 5-minute, I'll also initiate those too. But I'm always a little bit leery of setups that I see happening on the 1-minute because those tend to fail more often. And you're just safer if you see something on the 15-minute and take that. Okay, so here would be my 4 chart. This is where I do my actual trading. And in Priceline today, I am up $17,373 for the day. Yesterday was another remarkable day too, but today I really had a good day today in Priceline. And these things happen when you can spot the trend and stay with the trend and don't trade against the momentum and don't trade against things that you already know. If it's a downtrend, all of your trades should be going down that day. You should be shorting most of the day. Most. I say most because at some point in the day the market's going to bottom out and start to rocket back the other way. And so until that happens, that's really hard to tell anyways because that's picking the bottom. But until that happens, you should have a short bias because that's the direction of the trend. And why do I say that's the direction of the trend? Because my moving averages are pointing down. The red line is a 20-period moving average. The blue line is an 8-period moving average. And the purple lines, of course, are Bollinger Bands. The moving averages are set to simple moving average. So just kind of keep that in mind as you go through your trading style. This is my trading style, my setup. Those are my profits for the day. And, I hope you enjoy this little session that we've had. And like I said, if you have any direct questions, let me know. Feel free to go to ToughGuyTrading.com. My name is Robinson. Just leave kind of a direct question or another example that you might have of something similar or, things like that. Always here to help. Okay, we're almost done. I will show you guys my last chart here. It's a 6-chart setup. And on these 6 charts, I'm sorry, it's 8 charts here. Sorry. On this 8-chart setup here, I don't normally trade from anything here. This is just normally tracking the market. What's the dollar doing? What's oil doing? What's the Canadian dollar doing? What's soybean futures or the 10-year U.S. Treasury note? I use this 8-chart here to just kind of track and follow the market. So if I see a big move up in the dollar, stocks may potentially be going down because all markets correlate. This is also something that I'll talk about on further videos about correlations in markets.